Hello and welcome to Eye of Gnosis Tarot. My name is Ewan and today we are doing a Valentine's reading for the sign of Sagittarius. So if you are a Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising or Venus sign, this reading is for you. And if you don't resonate with what is here today, then do go look at your birth chart. There are plenty of free ones online and see where you have those placements in other signs. You could be, for example, a Sagittarius Sun, but not necessarily a Sagittarius Rising. You could be a Libra Rising, for example. So yes, if you don't resonate today, do go look at those other videos I've done. I've done one for each of these star signs for this Valentine's Day. And we will be doing the Temple of Love spread today, which is one I've seen used before, but I don't know whether that's its real name. That's the one I call it. And this can be used for any kind of relationship, Sagittarius, not just romantic, but I think this will have a more romantic spin on it today because this is, of course, Valentine's Day. I have totally sold out. So the way we're going to do this today, Sagittarius, is that we are going to look at the structure of the spread so you understand what's going on. Then I'm going to give a little bit of feedback about what Sagittarius means for me and whether fortunately or unfortunately I have a stellium in Sagittarius, so I have to be quite careful and very objective with what I see today. So there's a bit of transparency for you there, Sagittarius. And then we shall get on with the reading, I think. Now, right at the end, we will be doing a shadow card, which is at the bottom of this deck. And if you have a prediction at any point throughout the video what that shadow card could be, do put it down in the comments below, and of course like and subscribe if you found today's content useful and you want to see more future content. We do other readings, not just love readings, and we do tutorial videos for different types of spread, and of course I go through each of the tarot cards for the Thoth deck, which is the one with the most symbolism in it, in my opinion. If you want to learn more about tarot and why the cards are what they mean. Now today we're using the Ethereal Visions deck. This is a Art Nouveau deck that I like to use for love readings because it just looks quite pretty. But yes, I usually use the Thoth deck. So I'm just shuffling now, if you can hear some clapping in the background. It's just me shuffling the cards. So the way this is going to work, Sagittarius, is we've got your column here, which will represent you, of course, and we have your thoughts about the relationship, your feelings, and your actions. I'm going to do exactly the same for the special person in your life, what they bring to the relationship, what you bring to the relationship, what the relationship is like now, and then the near future, the mid-future, and the far future. And these bottom cards more serve as advice than anything set in stone, because they will only stay the same if the columns stay the same, and if there's something that needs to change in those columns, it will change the outcome of the reading. And remember, you can only change yourself, Sagittarius. I know from experience having a lot of Sagittarius that we do have a tendency to preach at other people, but really you can only change yourself, and that may in turn change how your paramour views you and the relationship. Okay, so before I do the reading, I'll just spill the beans, so to speak, on what Sagittarius means to me. So I am a Sagittarius Rising, I have a Sagittarius Mercury, and I have a Sagittarius Venus, and I also have a North Node in Sagittarius. So there is a little bit at stake here today, and I am going to keep this as objective as possible. The cards will reveal what needs to be revealed, and I do not have control of that. And I will only interpret the cards as I see them, not how I want them. Okay, I'm going to pull the first card with this relationship reading, Sagittarius. So just keep in mind that special person in your life, whether they are a past relationship, a present relationship, or a future relationship. And we have the World card straight off the bat. This is very similar to this is the last card in the Major Arcana, and is the completion of the Fool's Journey. It is the Universe in the Thoth deck, which I think is a more appropriate title. And the Fool has essentially gone full circle, and they are throwing themselves into themselves here. The universe experiencing itself. It's consciousness enjoying life. Okay. Which is everything, hence the universe or the world. Let's look at your heart here, Sagittarius. The Four of Cups, so this is very stable emotion. It's very comfy, but also a little stagnant. Needs something to shake up your life. You do feel like you've not got enough spice in your life at the moment, Sagittarius. This may be why, but it's not necessarily bad either. We may be comfortable at home, but not necessarily thriving. And your actions towards this relationship, Sagittarius. And we have the Ten of Swords, arguably one of the most difficult cards in the tarot. And this is the complete opposite to you, Sagittarius, for this is Sun in Gemini. And it is overthinking, overanalyzing to the point of metaphorical and hopefully not literal death. As you can see there, those 10 swords stuck in that poor man's back. Now this is known as the Ruin card in the Thoth deck. The card above it is known as the Luxury card in the Thoth deck. And we will just pull the remainder of the spread before we come to any conclusions, because there's a bit of contrasting energy here. It'll be interesting to see why, Sagittarius. So we're going to look at their thoughts towards this relationship, Sagittarius. And we have the Five of Cups, also known as Disappointment in the Thoth deck. And as you can see there, the image there really says it all. Our emotions have spilled. It is the card that comes after the Four of Cups. The thing that shakes us up after our period of luxury and comfort. And the reason why it does this is because emotions have been allowed to flow again, but perhaps too quickly and too fully. This is not depression, though, despite the look. This is sadness. Hasn't quite got to depression yet. Okay, what's going on in their heart, Sagittarius? The Ace of Cups, new emotion, new love. If there is a card to have in the heart position, it would be the Ace of Cups. It is the heart of the universe. And that is very well dignified, actually. And I wonder whether they are regretting something. Now they've found what really matters in their life. Let's have a look at their actions first. And we have the Seven of Swords. So this is associated with betrayal and another kind of shake-up. Sevens are very similar to the fives in that respect. The way I describe the Seven of Swords is like this. So we have the Six of Swords, which is the perfect balance of thoughts. Swords are thoughts, which is known as science. And then someone comes along and ruins everything by just saying a little comment and making it no longer objective. Subjectivity has ruined our peace and harmony. So this could be, for example, you completing a project, being very happy with it, and then someone comes along and criticises you. It's known as the Futility card in the Thoth deck. It's very much a subjective point of view that you feel all is now futile. And I am wondering here, Sagittarius, whether we are mainly dealing with a past relationship or a current relationship that is had a fallout. And I don't think it's an angry or strife-ridden fallout. I think in the Scorpio reading and a couple of other readings we've had a couple of strife kind of fallouts, but this is very much an emotional and I wouldn't say quiet, but certainly water-based fallout, if that makes any sense. It's an intuitive understanding what I mean by that. Of course, the cups are water cards. I do think you have found inner peace, though, here, Sagittarius. enough to keep things stable at the moment. However, I don't think they have yet, although they're getting there. Of course, the Ace plus the 5 comes to the 6 of Cups, which is pleasure, and we may get that in the future, or what they are bringing, or what you are bringing to the reading. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what you're bringing, Sagittarius, because you want to embrace the world. This is a very Sagittarian card, despite it not being your card, but you are definitely hurt by this. I don't think you are entering new relationships, Sagittarius, or wanting to, physically. Maybe emotionally and in your mind, but you're not physically doing anything. And I think that might be because of what's happened here. You both feel like you've upset each other, perhaps. But let's look at what they're bringing first, as to whether this is over or about to begin. And we have the Fool card. Now that is quite auspicious with regard to what I just said. It's a major arcana, and it is the first card of the entire tarot, and the beginning of what will end in the world, and the world will return back to the Fool. It is pure consciousness flinging itself into itself and learning to enjoy life by forgetting itself. Now this is auspicious because we could have a period of this instability that we've been talking about, whether it was a past relationship breakup and a regret, something going on at the moment where there's a lot of regret, or this uncertainty of will this person ever like me, or self-criticism perhaps if it's a prospective relationship. But now they have this new perspective, and I think this is coming from the Ace of Cups. All the aces belong to Kether in the Tree of Life, which is pure consciousness at the top here. And if we look here, the Fool card is going straight to the number 2. In other words, when you have a 0 and a 1, it immediately creates 2. And then, of course, that immediately creates 3. So that is the supernal triad. It's pure consciousness, the Holy Trinity, the 3 main divinities in Vedic traditions, the Brahma, Shiva, that's Vishnu and Shiva put together, which is a deity. Shiva and Vishnu. So I think they are definitely maybe putting things to chance, but not in the Wheel of Fortune sense. Because with the Wheel of Fortune, whilst you are putting things to chance, you have a set of things. It's the Russian roulette, and there's always at least one thing it's going to land on. The Fool is even more open than that. Well, it's not even a wheel anymore. It's broken the wheel. Okay, what were you bringing to this relationship, Sagittarius? I think this will very much determine whether we're mainly talking about a past relationship or not. Because if we see quite a difficult card here, it could be that you've maybe hurt them in some way, and not necessarily intentionally. And we have the Hierophant. Now this card is quite obstinate at the moment, which can be an attribute of Taurus, which it belongs to. It's another major arcana, and the reason why I say it's been quite obstinate is because it just won't seem to go away. I seem to be pulling it in nearly every single reading, just no matter how much I shuffle this deck. And the Hierophant is once again about seeking truth and intuition. I wonder whether they are hiding these things from you, Sagittarius, and you're trying to work out what is going on. Or you may be quite clear of these feelings, but you don't know about this, and you don't know about this, and maybe you're looking at that. Something has changed, and you're seeking what's going on here. You might not even be aware of the change yet, but you're definitely, I think, by opening yourself up to possibilities, Sagittarius, you are honing your intuition. And I think the Hierophant here in this position is very good with the Fool, not only because they're both major arcana, but also because it gives the Fool direction. This is essentially the concept that, so consciousness is the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. The Fool card, it flings itself out into itself, the physical realm, and then we come across those individuals, whether it be ourselves or other people, those shaman kind of people, who also have realised this truth and are helping other people realise this truth too, by giving them a bit of structure to their lives. And we usually see this as a spiritual practice or a religious belief, and it doesn't always have to be religious. We can be religious in a secular sense. Many atheists are worshippers of the concept that there is no God. They are still a form of religion in a sense, especially anti-theist atheists. Okay, let's see what the current relationship is like, as to whether there's actually going to be an advancement on this structure. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Four of Cups. We have Four of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, or the Six of Cups, or the Four of Pentacles here. Let's have a look. Okay, so it's more extreme than that. In fact, it's the complete opposite. And no more stability. And I think this is good for you, Sagittarius. And I think I'll explain why it's good for you and good for them. So here for you, Sagittarius, it is shaking up this stagnancy. This you're comfortable at the moment, perhaps comfortably numb. Bit of a Pink Floyd reference there. Not the first one I've done in these videos. You may have shut off certain things in your life, not emotions, I don't think. So maybe not numb, but maybe numb in the action sense, that you're not doing much because of something that's happened in this relationship. But you're definitely willing to, and you're searching out some truths as to whether you should go ahead for it. And the reason why the Tower is good is because it will finally allow the world energy to pour into your heart. So I think you should be, I shouldn't use that word, which is ironic. It would be well advised, Sagittarius, to allow your mind to instruct your heart at the moment. And in turn, using both your mind and your intuition, which is very much what the Hierophant does, to change your actions, Sagittarius, because the next card after the Ten of Swords is the Ace of Pentacles, and that is a new start and a new beginning of something physical, and that could be this relationship going places, so to speak. And in terms of, for them, Sagittarius, I think the Tower is what is bringing this Ace of Cups together with the Five of Cups to create the Six of Cups, which is pleasure. And one knows pleasure better than the Fool, and this is not materialistic pleasure, this is not hedonistic pleasure, this is pleasure in the most divine sense, the Christ consciousness, Buddha nature, being utterly and thoroughly content with the world whilst enjoying it at the same time. Because I think our friend here is content, but not necessarily enjoying it. And I think the Tower is a good shake-up for both of you. This may be the truth that the Hierophant is seeking, and this is the world that the Fool is jumping into, and I think you're both going to get a nasty shock, or a fantastic shock, and I think the next cards shall determine what that's going to be. Now already we have 4 major arcana, and I think in Scorpio's reading we went quite mad with the major arcana, so we'll see what's going to happen in the near future for you, Sagittarius. It's already very spiritual, this, which is good for you. And we have another major arcana, the Justice. So the Justice is the card before the world. Sorry, I get that mixed up with the Judgment. Sorry, it's not the this is the Adjustment card in the Thoth Tarot deck. Sorry, it is not the card before the world. This is the card after the Wheel of Fortune, and it is Libra's card. We are now balancing things, weighing up what is good and bad in our lives, and as with all major arcana, this doesn't necessarily have to be conscious. This is just an underlying vibe, so to speak, feeling in our lives, and it's very potent though. You may, for example, see a lot of serendipity, a lot of synchronicity as you're going throughout your day-to-day life. Perhaps you're seeing the word change or the word balance, or you're seeing a lot of towers in your life collapsing, so to speak. And they don't have to be literal towers, Sagittarius, but I think you, as a Sagittarius, know that most things are metaphor. So that is very interesting, that Libra energy. I think it is what is needed after a Tower moment. And of course, if you know, or whilst the major arcana do go from 0 to 21, it is the consciousness going into itself For itself to go back to consciousness, it must go in reverse. So here we have a more spiritual reading. This is spirit coming out of matter, not the other way around. So it makes sense why the Justice card is coming after the Tower here, going back to the Fool. I do think that Fool energy here is very much that screw it energy, I'm just going to do it, which is very positive for the other person in your life, Sagittarius, because it seems to be letting go of this Seven of Swords and completing that Five of Cups into the Six. Okay, are we going to get another major arcana? That's the question, Sagittarius. So we're weighing up the odds, we're balancing ourselves. I wonder whether we're going to get your power card, Sagittarius, the Temperance card, which I love. And no, we get the King of Pentacles, but we have very similar grounding energy to the Four of Cups here, despite them being of different elements. So the King of Pentacles is known as the Prince of Pentacles in the Thoth Tarot deck. It is the heir of Earth. I liken it to a hurricane, and the wind that brings in the new seasons. It can be quite disruptive, but it is necessary for the weather to change and the cycles of the year to carry on, so we can continue growing our seeds. I see the Pentacles as seeds. The Ace of Pentacles is certainly a seed, and each of the court cards of the Pentacles, or discs as they're also known, is essentially doing something for this seed. And what the King of Pentacles does for the seed is he allows the seasons to carry on and for growth to occur. And this is why we have these grapes here. And it is also important to note that in the Thoth deck, they are surrounded by lots of food, I believe. And they're holding the world in their hand, which is this pentacle. So I do think that this perhaps is you, Sagittarius. The court cards can represent people. And this is you. Now, you found the world. You're sussing out the world. Now you're holding it in your hand after you've balanced what is in front of you. There is a new beginning here, perhaps, after the Tower, but almost certainly. And now you have balanced your environment and adjusted to this massive change in your life. And we are nurturing that now. So this is very spiritual. I wouldn't be surprised if this is some kind of mystical experience or religious experience. Dare I say near-death experience. We've had to completely reassess our concept of the world. We're now nurturing that. And it's nurturing in a more passive way. Sorry, not passive, active way, should I say. Nurturing in a more active way. I think the Queen of Pentacles is the more passive one, sorry. Knocked the camera a bit there, doesn't matter. Okay. The final card. I wonder whether we're going to get your... We're going to get your power card, Sagittarius. The Seven of Pentacles. Okay. So I've heard it said on other tarot channels, and I do agree, the Seven of Pentacles, whilst it is called the failure card in the Thoth deck, this is not failure in the most terrible sense. This is lots of small failures. Each of those seeds is one that hasn't grown properly, but at least the plant is still growing. So I think in this relationship, Sagittarius, you both have this massive sudden moment of change, a move towards adjusting to new circumstances, growing something from those circumstances. And it might not necessarily be what you expected, Sagittarius. You could find that through your growth and adjustment that this person is not the person for you, and they realise that you are not the person for them. It may be that there is this period of lots of failures, and then you learn wisdom, which could ironically lead to you being together for longer. Relationships are never, ever, ever as simple as perfect harmony. Unless, of course, you are both spiritual gurus of some kind. I do believe there has been a lot of pain in the past between you two. And you are both seeking a spiritual path. And I think this has led to this massive change in your beliefs, the way you see the world. You are currently perhaps working towards that adjustment as you're going through your tower period. I wouldn't be surprised, Sagittarius, if something quite outstanding happens this Valentine's Day, whether or the day before or the day after this weekend, regarding this relationship. Whether you get a sudden text message, whether that be a sudden breakup, a sudden recommunication from someone from the past, or something more personal, a sudden insight from meditation. Perhaps you enter a state of altered consciousness and get a massive realization that this person is either the one for you or not the one for you. Or perhaps, like that Fool energy that they have, there is this, and this might be from their perspective rather, that they enter this state of putting things to chance and just living life, seeing where it goes. And then you both discover that life is full of curveballs, and you knew that anyway. So what do we think the shadow card is going to be, Sagittarius? I think that perhaps we may get the Three of Swords, or the Nine of Swords, warning us not to fall into despair or self-criticism, or the Five of Swords. In terms of major arcana, we've already got a lot of major arcana here, but I really do think that perhaps we should consider whether the Lover's card may play a part in this, Sagittarius, your opposite card, the Gemini's card, and that perhaps this is not the time to enter a relationship, or if it is, don't expect anything to come of it quickly. If you have a prediction as to what the shadow card would be, please put it in the description below. And I'm about to pull the card in a few seconds. So I'm reaching for the deck now, looking at the reading. I'm going to pull the bottom card. Okay, so we have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so what this is saying, Sagittarius, the Ten of Pentacles is the ultimate fulfillment of physical gain, and this is essentially saying it's not going to happen. If this is what you are seeking, Sagittarius, a life of commitment, a life of physical security with this person in the relationship, I don't think this is going to happen. Even if it works out in the end, I think there's going to be lots of these small failures which will make this difficult to achieve. And this is not saying this won't happen, actually. I think that's a misnomer. I think at the moment, the way things are going, perhaps this is a bit of a pipe dream, and we need to perhaps change some things in our lives. It may even be maybe to start acting upon things rather than lying here in the dirt. You can't just wallow in your own misery, Sagittarius. No matter how comfortable it may feel, you need to open yourself up to the world and start using that intuition. And the intuition may tell you that this person may not be able to provide you with the stability yet. I'll say yet. So be mindful of that, Sagittarius. Just look at the instability cards here. I mean, the Fool is still quite unstable. And we have two very unstable cards here. So we must use our discernment and our wisdom here, Sagittarius, as to whether if stability is something we are looking for, and that could perhaps be this if you are not feeling comfortable at the moment, this might not be the place or the case at the moment. Now, if that was your tower moment, do hit that subscribe button below and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. If you didn't resonate with what is here today, please do go look at those other videos for your other placements. And I wish you all the best, Sagittarius. May your tower moment be an epic moment, and may all peace be with you afterwards. And goodbye, Sagittarius.